Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, and welcome to another segment of Talking About Success. My guest today is Vincent James, who is one of the leading advocates of music and music education. He's the co-founder of the Keep Music Alive mission and co-author of the book. I love this book. I love the title. I love the cover. I love what's in it. Called 88 Plus Ways That Music Can Change Your Life. 88 Plus Ways Music Can Change Your Life. And we'll talk about this. And first of all, let me just welcome you to the show.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Wonderful to be here.
Very good. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, why do you think music is so important to society today?
Well, I think it really starts initially with the children, with kids, and education. I mean, research has shown time and time again when kids have an arts education included with their other subjects, they actually perform better in those traditional subjects, you know, the math, the English, the science. And on top of that, being involved in music activities, whether it's band or chorus, helps build their self-esteem and their confidence. So for me, that's the primary reason. But then moving beyond that, we have music therapy, all the different types of therapy that uses music as part of the healing process. And even connecting with our older parents and relatives that may have Alzheimer's or dementia, the only thing they respond to is music. So I think music is just core to us as human beings, and I think we need to do whatever we can to help perpetuate it.
Yeah, my wife is currently doing hospice work at the moment.
Really?
And one of the stories I heard was a woman was in the hospital, or the hospice, you know, and she was dying of cancer. And this woman came in and started going in each room playing the violin. And these people would just relax and they would smile, and like, everything would start to like just transform.
Yes.
So very powerful.
We've heard stories of people who play the piano and these old songs, and all of a sudden there's a voice singing in the room. It was a lady who previously was pretty much catatonic, down like this, and she woke up and started singing these
along.
Broadway songs that the musician was playing.
I love it.
And as soon as he stopped, she went right back to the state. It's just,
interesting.
It triggers something.
It does. It does. Well, your music's very important to me. I played the guitar. I was in a folk singing group and a rock band in high school. I sang in the Glee Club. I loved music, and today I still play the guitar and I use them in my seminars.
Oh, that's great.
I have one son who's a DJ and a hip hop artist, and another son who's a singer, sang in all the school plays. So I am a big believer in music, and also the unfortunate thing that I think is happening to music in America, which we can talk a little bit about too. So what got you involved in this mission? I mean, it's one thing to be a musician and a music educator, but now you have this project, this mission that you're embarked on. Talk about that and what led you to that.
I think for many years I was the love songs guy. I wrote custom songs for anniversaries, weddings, and different occasions for families, you know, and couples worldwide. But I was always looking for something with more meaning than that. I mean, that was very satisfying, but I wanted to do something that would have meaning to all musicians and all people. And about a year ago, something just kind of clicked inside, where I really wanted to promote the value of music in society, you know, the educational value, the therapeutic value, and just our overall happiness. So we kind of, you know, along with my wife Joanne, we launched this mission, Keep Music Alive, and we're having a time of our life with it.
So talk about what is the mission of Keep Music Alive?
The mission is to help raise the awareness of how important music is, again, through the educational value, the therapeutic value, and the overall happiness that it brings to all of us as human beings. And we're just trying to spread that message, you know, through stories and other ways to let people reconnect, you know, with the music in their lives, either as a child, you know, when they had music maybe introduced and they kind of forgot about it, and this is a way for them to rekindle that music in them and maybe introduce it to their children and keep, you know, the cycle going.
Cool. Now you've written this book, 88 Plus. Talk about the plus. Ways music can change your life. You know, having written the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, this looks like a familiar format, which I love. And as I've glanced through here, there's some wonderful stories. I saw this story by Saida Garrett, who wrote Man in the Mirror, who I've met and really loved. She did that for Michael Jackson. Right. So talk about how this book came to be, what's in here, and what the value would be if people were to read this book.
Well, we had this mission that we really wanted to go out and spread how important music is, but we needed to have ways to do that. So we thought, well, why not a book of inspirational stories and use that as a vehicle to reach out to the media and to the public. And by reading these stories and reconnecting with them, it'll help them remember why the music is important, and how, by seeing how it's affected so many other people's lives. We reached out to numerous, thousands of people across the world, musicians, music teachers, and music fans. And we're just overwhelmed with the amount of support we had coming back, both from, people that weren't even musicians to people like professionals like Saida Garrett, who graciously gave the stories and why music, really connects to them.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, so I noticed when I was reading it, there's a lot of people in here that some of them we know their names, some of them I didn't know their name, but I knew their band.
Right.
And their TV show or whatever it was.
Sure.
So who are some of the people in here that if people look at this, they're going to find?
Well, from the music world, we had people like Bobby Kimball from the band Toto, who was the lead singer. We have Rick Wakeman, the keyboard player from Yes. Saida Garrett, we mentioned. We have Rob Parisi, who wrote, you may not know his name, but he's the guy who wrote and sang Play That Funky Music, which is a classic,
Play that funky
music, white boy. And from the TV world, we have Audrey Landers, who was a big star on Dallas. We have film composers that have, written from numerous films and TV shows that we've seen on TV. And it's just a good collective of different genres of music, everything from hip-hop to country to classical, opera star. We have one lady in particular she started out as a ballerina. She was a dancer, and then she got all the way up to the highest level, dancing as a ballerina at the Metropolitan Opera and over in Europe with, Luciano Pavarotti and other great stars. And then she saw them performing on stage. She's like, I want to do that. So she started all over, learned opera, and eventually worked herself up to that same level.
Wow.
And to me, that was just like an amazing story for someone to have that journey. And now she's actually, in her elder years, she's going through and becoming a jazz artist and reinventing herself a third time.
Wow. That's a really great story because it shows you not just in the music world, but in any world we can reinvent ourselves.
Yes.
I feel like a Supreme Court justice going back to medical school.
Yes, why not?
Why not? So share another favorite story if you would, if you can remember one.
Oh, sure, certainly. We had the gentleman, I'll share Simon Kirk, the drummer from Bad Company. He was doing a drum clinic over in the UK, and the house lights are down, and he's lit up on the stage, and he's playing and demonstrating different drums and different sounds, and from the back of the room he keeps hearing this clicking sounds. And he just kind of bounced off him initially, and then after a while it kept happening, and he was kind of getting a little annoyed because here he's trying to give this professional seminar, and it's being interrupted by something going on in the room. So the seminar finishes up, and the house lights go up, and in the back of the room were about a dozen wheelchairs with children with cerebral palsy with drumsticks in their hand, and they had been clicking them, playing, and his heart just, melted. And I cried the first time I read that. Several times reading that story, the tears. It just hits you right here. The music was connecting with those children in such a way that it meant so much to them, and this is why we do it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know what that reminds me of? I mentioned two of my children who are into music. My oldest son's a drummer. If I don't say that and he sees this, I'll be in big trouble. But he's in a band in New York, actually, that travels around, goes all over Europe and so forth. So all these drumming, he was one of those kids that from the moment he was born was just like,
Sometimes they come out of the womb that way.
I know. Try to have dinner quietly when you have a drummer for a son. Not quite possible. No, very difficult. So this is great. I look forward, I've only leafed through this, but I look forward to reading this in great depth and getting copies for my children as well. They'll love this. So what's on the horizon for Keep Music Alive?
Well, at the moment we're looking to get the stories out there any way we can via social media, our website, through media interviews. And we're also getting ready to start looking for stories for Volume 2, which is going to come out next fall. And we know that we've only scratched the tip of the iceberg of what's out there in stories. So we're going to be looking for people to try to share stories from their experiences to add to a second volume and hopefully keep it going after that. We're also looking to use this as a vehicle, as a fundraiser for school music programs nationwide, where they can sell copies of the book to their communities and they can make about half the price of the book back.
Oh, great.
For their organization, which they're always looking for fundraisers. We know as parents ourselves with kids in music programs, they're always doing fundraisers, and this is something, a way they can use music inspirational stories as a fundraiser. Yeah.
I remember a poster from the 60s, when they have to do a fundraiser for war, the world will change.
Right.
We have to do fundraisers for music, which is such an important part of our life.
Yes.
But this is a great tool, so I like that. Why 88 plus? Is there a story behind that?
Well, as a piano player, 88 was near and dear to my heart. It's the number of
88
keys on the piano.
I thought that might be it, yeah.
And, they always see, 98 ways for this, 100 ways, 101 ways. I'm like, I'm going to do 88, but I want to have more than 88. So how do I represent that? 88 plus, and it just kind of stuck.
Very good, very good. Well, my intuition was correct on that one. That's really good. So you mentioned your website. How do people get to your website? What's your website?
They can find us online at keepmusicalive.org.
Keepmusicalive.org.
Yes.
And your book, is this self-published? Is it something that you can get at Amazon?
Yes, it is self-published, and you can get it at Amazon or at Barnes & Noble websites.
Okay, and if they want to sell lots of them, they would contact your website.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to set up programs with musicians and organizations nationwide that would like to buy maybe, bulk copies and sell it as fundraisers for
Very
whatever
good.
they're trying to promote.
Very good. I would say every music teacher in America should be giving this book to their students to
Yes.
give them the inspiration of because I think a lot of times when you're sitting there practicing your skills, you forget there's a bigger story involved.
Right.
So good for you.
Right.
Good for you. Well, this has been a pleasure. So keepmusicalive.org and 88 plus ways, 88 plus keys. Music can change your life, and it can change your life. It really is transformational. I'm sure we all could tell our own story about that. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Vincent.
Thank you, Jack.
Really
Pleasure as
appreciate
well.
you coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, dear to my heart, because I've got all these music's dear to me, my kids. So get this book, read it. It's inspirational, not only in terms of music, but in terms of living your dream. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back.